Hello and welcome all to the Spooky Horror Show. I'm your host tonight, Sean, and with me is Anthony. Tonight we're going to be reviewing and spoiling the 2016 Canadian Lovecraftian horror film, The Void, written and directed by Stephen, I think I'm saying this name right, Kostanski, and Jeremy Gillespie, starring Aaron Poole and Kenneth Welsh, Kathleen Monroe. It also stars Daniel Fathers, that's a fucking awesome name, and my favorite actor... My favorite actor and character from the Scott Pilgrim film, Ellen Wong. She played Knives Chow. But before all that... Was she? Yeah, that's Knives. Yeah.
And, you know, I never noticed that until you told me.
Yeah.
It's crazy how different they look.
Oh yeah. Oh, she's so grown up, yeah. Kenneth Welsh and Kathleen Monroe were both in the George A. Romero 2009 Survival of the Dead.
Oh, okay.
But before all that, how's your week been?
Oh, my It's been fucking, and it's finally getting warm up here too. So now, like, I'm having to get like adjusted to the heat back up here, and it's fucking getting busy. It's just been fucking ridiculous. Yeah. But other than that, it's been fucking good. I mean, kids been all right, wife's good. I'm getting back into this stuff. I can see, like, I don't watch this shit normally.
Yeah.
And I wanted to get back into it, and you got me back into doing it. Now I'm glad I showed you this fucking movie.
Yeah. Well, with me, I am, as you can visibly see, I am exhausted. Fell asleep at around 5:30. Woke up at 8 because the wife is about to start her last semester of that clinical stuff. So because she's going to be so busy, like, working at all these clinics, yeah, she wants to get in as much family time as possible before her time is like down to nothing.
Yeah.
So we went to a drive-through safari. Ooh. In, I think it's like Franklin. It's past Rockdale, which, if you know Rockdale, that's just like crack central.
Oh, geez.
Yeah. So
moth in my house.
Oh yeah, I just saw it fly by.
Fucking moth, man.
So no sleep, and we're driving through, and we're like giving the animals feed. First of all, emus are fucking assholes.
They're kind of aggressive too.
Yeah, we rolled down the window, and it just like darted its fucking head in to get the food, like it was gonna peck our eyes out. So I was like, all right, we gotta figure that out.
They're kind of a hostile animal, especially if you move around a lot. If I remember correctly,
I go to roll. We drive a little bit further. I go to roll down the window for to give zebras some feed, mainly to like be able to throw it, because they're swarming the cars. I roll down the window. The zebra turns its face into the window, sneezes on me, and then turns and runs right into my side mirror. I'm like,
dude, did it break?
No. Thankfully, it turns like it's one of those like safety ones.
Oh, so okay.
Yeah, but I was like, God fucking damn it! And then they just have like longhorn like steer walking around.
Oh well, yeah, because that's like the staple of Texas too.
But why would you have something that could
that's everywhere?
They're everywhere. And will just ram into your car, just walking around. Like, and then an ostrich came up, and the wife was trying to like, because like there were a lot on my side, and I didn't have feed, so I was like, just roll down your window and take a bunch of feed and throw it over the roof.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So that it goes over and it clears and they'll go away.
Yeah, so it didn't reach over the roof.
She kept going and throwing it onto the hood of my car, and I was like, not the hood. Oh, not the hood, the roof. Throw it over the roof. And she's like, I can't do it. And so I grabbed feed, I rolled down the window, threw it so they went away, grabbed more, and I went like this. And she's like, oh. Yeah, she's like, I couldn't. She's like, I couldn't do that. So further down, I get stopped by an ostrich. And it's just attacking my hood.
You in Zootopia?
And I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
Over it.
Yeah. And then I go, oh, it's all the goddamn food you threw on my friggin' hood.
Do you have all kinds of dents now in the top of your hood?
Thankfully, no. But
you're a lucky son of a bitch, man.
I was
you can't
like,
get a package to save your life, man. But hey, your hood's good.
Yeah. So I said to her, I was like, you know what? The next time we do something like this, we'll take your fucking car. Let's see
Yeah,
how
there
much
we
you like
go.
seeing your brand new car get fucking rammed by deer antlers and
Oh,
have
my car would have to be the one taken.
yeah, I was like, no. Oh, I forgot to ask you during your whole stuff. Did you ever beat Elden Ring yet?
No, no.
No?
I'm still yeah, dude. I'm trying to make my way a little bit higher, and then I got to go back in. I keep on leveling up, go back in, see what happens. Level up, go back in and happen because I'm not at
Yeah.
200 yet.
Yeah, I do about 10 levels and then I give it another go.
I'll do 100 arrows.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll do 100 arrows, and then I go back in into it, and I keep getting further and further.
Yeah.
So it's working.
But
I started
no,
watching
that's-
some of the videos of people
Oh,
fighting them
of
to
doing-
like kind of like study how long the moves take.
But yeah, like I told you, I'm up to I think like 380 something, like level 380 something, and that's what I had to get to beat him, the Elden Beast, for the third time. To get all 100% achievements, so I'm fucking done. And now I'm like, Redfall and Starfield have been delayed until early 2023, so I don't have any other games to play. So I'm like, I guess I'll just watch more movies. So I'm going through the Shudder app and everything to find more stuff. But now that that's out of the way, let's talk a little bit about this movie. Steve, I keep almost not pronouncing his name right. Steven Kostansky and Jeremy Gillespie are members of a Canadian film production company called Astron 6.
Yeah,
Primarily known for making 80s-centric horror comedies like Father's Day and The Editor, which I haven't seen Father's Day, but I have seen The Editor, and that's pretty good. The Void was meant to be a more serious film compared to their previous works. Since The Void, they've gone on to make the 2016 remake of Leprechaun Returns. That's the one that's supposed to be a direct sequel to the original one with Jennifer Aniston.
It supersedes all those really bad ones.
Yeah, it's like it's like a sorority sisters go to the original house, because I think that was like Jennifer Aniston's house. So they go back to that house since one of the sorority sisters is Jennifer Aniston's daughter, like character's daughter, and they're like fixing it up, and that's when they find like the gold, and then the leprechaun. It's all that. It wasn't very good. The kills were pretty cool, but like it wasn't very good. They also made 2020's Psycho Gorman, which that is on Shudder. I believe it's a Shudder original film. I highly recommend that everyone go see Psycho Gorman. Psycho Gorman is such a good, it's just so good. It's such a good movie. It's gory as all hell. The practical effects are amazing. It's so good.
Is that your pick, or is that your pick, or
no,
is that just
no,
a recommendation?
No, that's a recommendation. That everyone should go see Psycho Gorman.
And that's on the Shudder app, everybody. You can probably get that on the YouTube TV like I have.
So what are your spoiler-free thoughts of The Void?
Full disclosure, I've seen the movie already beforehand, before I recommended this to Sean. So I knew what it was going in, and I had to recommend it. I honestly, it literally is suspense from the minute it starts until like the very end of this movie. You have no idea what's going the fuck on, but you just know you need to keep watching to figure out what further piece of the puzzle is going to line up, and then try to piece that all together. It is definitely for a Canadian horror film, because not like I just watch them all the time. It is amazing. The special effects are fucking phenomenal. The creatures
it was also
that
crowdfunded.
I didn't even know, and crowdfunded. I recommend seeing this movie now that I know it's crowdfunded. See what I'm talking about by the effects. The script, I think, was pretty well written for it to be. You'll see when we get into it as like kind of jumping from different key aspects of the movie and stuff. I think it was fucking made phenomenally. I think everyone should see the movie.
After last week's podcast, when you recommended to watch The Void, I finished stream, I did some cleanup work, and I sat down to watch the film. And it was fucking amazing. I was so surprised. Like, I'm not usually a fan of body horror films because it's
body
usually
horror?
like
Explain this. You're far more into this.
Body horror is basically like when like the bodies like mutate and get like gross and stuff, kind of like the Human Centipede would be considered body horror. A lot of, I think,
like mutilations and
technically they would kind of consider The Thing body horror, because it's like the human body's changing. The Fly.
Oh, okay.
The Fly is body horror, stuff like that.
Oh, definitely. That was a phenomenal movie.
Yeah. But like watching it, it was just like every actor was fucking on point. It's like, god damn, they really got the best things. But so I'm watching it, I'm writing all my notes and everything as it goes, and as soon as the movie ends and I finish typing up my notes, I have a little note here. This is the note that I have written. As I'm writing out the plot and getting characters and actors' names, I find out Kenneth Welsh, who plays Dr. Powell, died that day.
Wait, what?
As I was writing it, I was Googling people to see like what have I seen them from? And that, what was it, last Saturday? Kenneth Welsh died. As I'm typing in his name, it pops up his obituary. He died that day. I was like, oh fuck.
Oh, that's terrible.
He was an actor from the Twin Peaks TV show. He was in A Day After Tomorrow. I think that was like the one where like New York flooded, if I remember correctly. He was in Time Cop.
Oh, I think I've actually seen Time Cop.
Yeah, and he was in Psycho Gorman.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, he died at the age of 80 on what is that, May 7th, 2022.
Jeez.
And I was like, fuck, man, he was such a good, I mean, he lived a long life, but I was like, fuck, man, he was such a good actor that it sucks that like he won't be in more stuff. I think everyone should watch this. I don't know what the Rotten Tomato score is, but it should definitely be in like the 80s. Because the film is, I have a couple of nitpicky things which I'll get into a little later because it'll be like well after spoilers. But
I mean, looking at IMDb, they have it at 5.8 out of 10, which I feel is a little harsh, to be honest.
Yeah, I feel like that score is probably because it's marketed as a Lovecraftian horror.
Well, I could see them considering it not,
because it's very like cosmic and mystical and stuff. But I don't really think they advertise the body horror. I think that's the big thing.
You have zero idea of what goes on in this movie in the trailer.
It's like we'll get into some of the gross stuff, but like it gets disgusting. It gets really, really gross.
It does, actually.
And, like honestly, that usually turns a lot of people off, especially if they don't know it going in. So it's understandable that it would be that low, but it just give it a second watch. If like the first time you're like, ugh, give it a second watch. You should be used to the stuff by then, and then you can actually see for what it is. But okay, let's get into the plot. Oh, I should probably do our spooky spoilers. Okay, so the film opens with screams coming from a farmhouse and a guy who we later find out is James. He's fleeing from a farmhouse and escapes into the woods. A screaming woman tries to follow, but gets a shotgun blast right to her back. While on the ground, still alive.
It was a rifle.
Yeah. Oh, was it a rifle?
Yeah. It's a 30-06.
Because all I saw was a big, like, boom. And I was like, oof, Jesus. She's doused in gasoline and set on fire by who we later find out is Vincent and Simon. Sitting in his patrol car, Deputy Sheriff Daniel Carter, who at first I didn't like. He just seemed like a fucking...
Dude, he's
like crotchety, and it's like, dude, you're far too young to be like that much of a prick.
He starts off really terrible. Like, I was like, this dude is a fucking tool. But we'll get into that.
Deputy Sheriff Carter finds James crawling along the road and rushes him to a local hospital. The hospital is in the process of shutting down after a recent fire, so only a skeleton crew is really working there. Part of the crew...
In which I said to my wife, if it was in the process, knowing my background in EMS, if it was a process of doing that, they can't take in... I mean, there's real shit involved where you're like, what the fuck? I know it's a movie, but like, as much detail as they have in this movie, I was a little bit upset.
I think it's the fact that because it's like the Rockdale Hospital was closed. They have to keep accepting people until they completely close down, especially since in that town there's no other hospital.
That is always the bad part about a small area.
Yeah. So part of the skeleton crew is the deputy's estranged wife, Allison Fraser. She works as a nurse at the hospital, as does Dr. Richard Powell, played by the late Kenneth Welsh. Who else is there? Nurse Beverly and intern Kim, who is Knives Chow from, I was about to say Steven Universe, Scott Pilgrim.
No, Scott Pilgrim.
Yeah. The patients that are there are pregnant Maggie. I think she's a teenager.
They
I'm pretty sure
depict
she's
her as a younger, so I want to feel in between the 16 to 18 age.
Yeah. And she's there with her grandfather Ben, and then there's just some dude named Cliff in a room. Kim is, I guess, keeping him company. I don't really know.
Yeah, he looked like he was a patient that was already there.
Yeah. I like that it's the scene from the trailer where Kim is in there with him, and she's like, you know, statistically you're more likely to die in a hospital or something like that.
Yeah.
And it like freaks him out. So Allison and Beverly get James, who escaped the farmhouse, onto a gurney and wheel him to Dr. Powell. Meanwhile, Kim is, like in the trailer, hanging out with Cliff, watching royalty-free Night of the Living Dead. James is freaking out, so Dr. Powell sedates him. Everyone does some talking as everyone settles in for the night, and Daniel finds who's it? Beverly? Because it's like weird. It's pretty much like they sedate him, and then they're talking, and then I think it's like Allison goes, "Where did you find him?" Like Allison or Beverly go, "Where did you find him?" And
he's like, I don't know, he's some college kid drunk or something like
that. Carter doesn't answer them, looks at his shirt and he goes, he got blood on me.
Yeah, I know. He was like I was like,
what the fuck is that?
No shit, he got blood on you, you fucking dick. Like,
so he's
that's
like
what I mean.
walking.
He just seems such like a tool.
Yeah. So it's like people are talking and he like leaves, and then he's walking back and he walks past Cliff's room and Beverly is in there, and it cuts to like his view of Beverly pulling a scalpel out of Cliff's eye. She turns around to face Carter, and her face is just fucking gone. She just flayed her face.
Chopping it off.
Yeah. Beverly moves towards Daniel and he shoots her dead. And that was a good
she pulls a knife.
She had scissors on him.
Yeah.
But she's like, don't do it. Don't do it. And she does it. And he's like, boop.
That motherfucker, I said it to the wife. I was like, motherfucker, as many times as we hear about cops always having their hands on the gun, I'm like, this fucking backwaters fucking sheriff, one time you don't have your hand on your gun to be quicker than the fucking person with a knife. I was like, that was the slowest fucking sheriff ever. I'm like, oh my God, this dude sucks at his job.
And then it's like the second he like shoots her, he like has to, like, everyone comes in to be like, what happened? And they see, and he's like, she killed him and she came after me. And then he immediately runs to the bathroom and just fucking pukes everywhere.
Yeah.
And then he collapses and has a seizure and experiences strange visions.
It's where he sees the fucking void.
Yeah, this is where the start of all that happens, and we'll get a little bit further in before I complain about that, because it's really my only complaint that like I have when it comes to that. Okay. So State Trooper Mitchell enters the hospital to collect James,
which mysteriously just gets there extremely fast.
Well, I think in the beginning there was a call that there was a disturbance at the farmhouse. Shooting. So Mitchell went there. And then the state trooper went there, found the massacre there, and then went to the hospital to get to pick up James.
Yeah.
Daniel goes outside to call in Beverly's death from his patrol car, which I also like. Okay, so Daniel Carter kills Beverly because Beverly killed Cliff and then came after him.
Yes.
So it would be justified, whatever.
Yeah.
And then Mitchell comes and he's like, your father would be disappointed. Give me your gun. I'm like, what the fuck is going on right now?
There's this fucking
was I missing something?
Andy Dick fucking nah, bro, not at all. I said the same thing. I've seen this movie in the last week 7 fucking times. Okay. I said the same thing every time that scene happens. I'm like, what did he do so wrong? All he did was get attacked by some bitch that was cutting her face off.
Yeah.
And he's like, your father would be disappointed for
Yeah.
handling his business and not dying?
Yeah,
This dude was a dick from the fucking get-go.
Yeah, so I wasn't sad when he
oh god no.
gets killed.
I was thoroughly impressed that he didn't die fucking in a more brutal death.
Yeah. So Daniel goes outside to call in the death from his patrol car. And he can't get through. Like because at first I think he tries the hospital office. And
yeah, the lines are down now.
The lines are down. So he goes outside and tries from his car and still can't get through.
Crazy.
He gets out of his car because he sees like I don't necessarily want to call it a cult member yet, because you wouldn't like see that and be like, oh, it's a fucking cult member. But it's a dude standing there in a full white robe with white hood with like an upside down triangle on his face on like the hood. All of a sudden all the lights go out, like at least outside, because I think inside you know what, all the lights probably went out because of the backup generator. And when he turns around, he's like attacked by one of the cultists and stabbed in the chest. Now, where exactly was he? He wasn't stabbed in the heart or the lung. It was like the upper clavicle, right?
It was more of a clavicle, more like up towards where like that, you know, where the clavicle starts to bend into your shoulder. So it was like right there, which I would say, like, it went in pretty deep. In a realistic thing, he probably would have had puncture.
Yeah,
I feel like either heart or lung he would have had puncture. But he didn't last that long.
Yeah, because it's like he went in, he got the guy up, and then he runs back into the hospital, shuts it, like closes everything, and collapses on the floor. People are freaking out, and there's a lot of blood. And I'm like, I don't know if he was stabbed anywhere. That like, yeah, you're gonna get stabbed. There's gonna be blood. Like that's that's.
That it would squirt? I would definitely think it would squirt from there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he manages to get to the hospital, and cultists just surround everything. And while they're taking care of him, Beverly's body begins to transform. And this was the beginning of, oh, that's disgusting.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I was like,
I
oof.
have to say, what are your thoughts on this scene? Because in my mind, the first time I put this on, I every time I watch good movies like this, I'm sick or something. I was watching this one day when I was homesick. So I was just flipping through, and it didn't look like it would look good. It kind of looked like a shit killer B-type movie. I'm like, fuck it, we're watching it. And I'm watching this movie, and it's fucking good. Yeah. And that scene happens. That's a really good graphic scene. Like, the special effects, like, are really good on that scene. And that's the first good graphic scene you see in the movie.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's Steven. What was his name? Skantz. Fuck, I'm gonna butcher his name. Oh, Steven Kostanski. One of the directors. He's also a practical effects guy. Like, he works on practical effects. So this was also like his thing. Like, he wanted to do this. I loved it. Like, it looked good. Like, it was very natural. It wasn't like, oh, it's changed. It's like you can see it's like starting, and it's gross.
Yeah. And they never fully let you see it, so it gives you the suspense. Because when you look at the title, it says suspense horror. I'm like, it's definitely true to its fucking name.
Yeah. So they stop the bleeding, and they're walking around because I believe they hear James. Yeah, it's James freaking out because Beverly's body has like basically fully transformed and is like grabbing the bed. His bed is flipped over, so what is it?
Trying to like wrap around the bed.
There's like there's a lot of tentacles. If you like tentacle porn, you're gonna like this movie. So James, Daniel, and Mitchell find Beverly's corpse is transformed into a tentacle creature. Daniel Carter, whichever, runs over, and instead of just unlocking it, like, he has the keys to the cuffs.
Right? He said the same exact thing. I'm like, wouldn't it have been quicker to throw him the keys? Yeah. Unhook yourself, bitch. I'm over here. No, they had to like runs over and forever. Yeah.
He had to decide he wanted to do that, then run over and kick the railing until it like falls. I was like, all right, man.
After I would have just taken the cuffs. Shoots this fucking thing and freezes.
Yeah.
Mr. Badass.
I think they lock Beverly's monster body in her room.
Yeah, they close the door.
Yeah, Vincent and Simon from the beginning of the movie enter the lobby and hold everyone at gunpoint. They demand to get James. James takes pregnant Maggie hostage to protect himself and then stabs Powell in the neck.
When he was trying to de-escalate.
Yeah, the doc was trying to de-escalate, which I think you'll find out a little bit.
Oh,
like why later. Powell is laying on the floor, like bleeding out. The Beverly creature thing appears and then just grabs Mitchell. But my thing is, like, from where everyone was standing, how the hell did it grab Mitchell? Because the monster was behind us. Yeah, the monster was behind them.
Yeah.
But then Mitchell was standing on the other side.
A lot of the things here.
It's simple blocking, like something wasn't like watched right, or maybe it's just like us not knowing the right. Yeah. So it grabs Mitchell and like the tentacles start like penetrating the body.
Oh, and it's like all and then gross and shit. Going into its fucking face and his mouth and shit.
Yeah.
And like I said, it is
so
done
gross
well.
and so awesome. Yeah. So
it's
Vincent and Simon
so
kill
well.
it. They kill the Beverly. I guess we can now call it the Beverly Mitchell creature.
Yeah.
Since it was like absorbing it. And
they chop off his dead corpse's head because it had his tentacle and it was still feeding on it to stay alive.
Yeah, so the scene is gruesome, it's gory, it's awesome. The deputies, Simon and Vincent, regroup with the others in the lobby where they set Mitchell's body on fire.
Best way to get rid of him.
Yeah, and then they push it out into the parking lot on a gurney, like into like all the cult members. I for a while was confused as to who they lit on fire.
Oh, because honestly, that was very small amount on a gurney when that creature looked fucking huge.
Yeah.
I said the same thing, but then they cut away to the face of what looks like the creature burning.
Yeah.
So you assume it's that. I'm like, well, what the fuck's the rest of it? Yeah, I'm with you on that one. It didn't really pan out for me that way, but that's what they gave us.
And it's like, it's understandable with the amount of money they had. I think they filmed this in like 18 days.
God,
I think it was like a really short like thing.
Damn. They did well.
Yeah. So Vincent and Simon accompanied Daniel to get his shotgun from his patrol car. Yeah. Because they don't have a whole lot of ammo. He needs a weapon. Because Mitchell took his gun. Then I'm like, where did he put it?
Which makes sense.
But it's like Mitchell had a gun. He took the deputy's gun. Where are those guns? Where do those guns just magically go? Like when he took Daniel's gun, did he just like put it in his pocket? Like what the fuck happened to his gun?
Yeah, it kind of that kind of does make sense. They only found one gun.
Yeah, and
so
then
either way, there'd be one person's gun. I guess it's on his body.
Yeah. So it's like, I don't know. That was another one of those things. I'm just like, when you're watching, you're like, but someone, it's like when you're watching a horror movie and like the damsel in distress runs upstairs when you're like, the front door is right there where you're going. It's the same thing with weapons. It's like, you know that there are weapons there. Where did those weapons go? So it was just something that confused me. But so they go outside to Vincent and Simon, really just Vincent, because Simon I don't think can speak. I think they show like a wound on his neck.
Yes, I give a great deal of fucking annoyance to that. As you show the wound to this dude's neck, which was in this area, as you can see. So what did he get, like stabbed in this way and it cut his vocal cords? Or is he like shocked and traumatized? It was very vague. The backstory wasn't hard.
Watch for me to be like, oh, it took the second watch for me to be like, oh, he has a scar there. At first I thought they were just pointing to his mouth. And I was like,
there's
oh,
like a
is he missing his tongue or
old.
Something? Yeah. Vincent tells him, like, fine, we'll go and get your shotgun and the ammo from your trunk, but the shotgun's mine. And he's like, fine, I don't give a shit. Whatever.
Yeah, like I said.
The main reason for getting the shotgun is Maggie. Yeah, Maggie's the pregnant one. Yeah. She is, I think, going into labor.
Yes.
And they need medical supplies, and there's nothing upstairs. Everything's in the basement. But they don't want...
he doesn't want his wife to go down alone.
The deputy said that he'll go down with her. He just needs to get a weapon. He's like, don't go anywhere. Let me just go get this. I'll come back, and we'll go down.
Which I honestly thought she was going to go.
Yeah, well, I mean, she does.
Oh yeah, she does. That's for sure.
So she's like, yeah, I'll wait. So Vincent, Simon, and Daniel go outside to retrieve the shotgun. And now the patrol car is like 4 fucking blocks away at the absolute tail ass end of this parking lot next to like the woods tree line. And I was like, that's fucking weird. Did they move his car?
I thought you said it was close. I was like, fucking clearly it isn't. No, yeah, because they came in already and they all knew the positions of those 2 cars.
Yeah. Because I remember when he got stabbed, it wasn't far.
No, not at all. It was like right by the front door. And then it was like literally like a fucking half, like a football field. It was like the end of the parking lot. I'm like, that sucks.
I just love that he's like, and then what is it? Simon's just like, all right, and he just like starts running for the car and everything. I'm like, good on you, Simon, being a go-getter, being like, I need to get that shotgun too. Meanwhile, inside, Allison completely ignores Daniel and ventures into the basement alone to collect medical supplies for delivering Maggie's baby. Allison is almost immediately attacked by something as the guys manage to get the shotgun and back into the hospital. They kill a couple of cult members, or at least I think they kill. I know they shoot them, but I mean, we don't know how that's working. Like, are they really dead? Like, I don't.
Is there anybody even in those things?
Yeah. What is it? So Daniel and Vincent go to search for her, and they find photographs and files indicating that Powell is in fact the cult leader of everything.
At the very least, in this point of the movie, that there's an involvement, or he knew of them.
Yeah, he has photos of all the stuff, and like the weird the pyramids and stuff.
James.
Yeah. Powell calls Daniel on, I think it's the phone in his office, because I think this isn't his. I think this is downstairs somewhere.
Yeah, this is all the way downstairs. Like this lair.
Yeah, and he calls Daniel on the phone that's there, and he starts taunting him and mentioning the vision Daniel experienced while unconscious, and that he knew that he experienced it.
Yeah.
This is where I want to start getting into like
the what the fuck?
Like the point of, what is it called? Lovecraftian horror. There's a lot of shit that's involved with H.P. Lovecraft's work. Yeah. And Cthulhu and all that shit, and I don't think this is specifically tied to anything.
Oh no, I don't think so at all. I don't think there's any tie-in.
I think this came. I think they decided to do this where they were working at the time, or where their studio or something. I think Guillermo del Toro was filming something. I think he was in the middle of filming some sort of, or getting ready to film a Lovecraftian horror movie that's actually tied to Cthulhu. I don't remember what the movie's called.
Oh, okay.
And through talking to him about it, that's where they got the idea for theirs. So basically the Lovecraftian shit for it is like the tentacle monsters and the cosmic shit, and like all that stuff. But nothing is explained. What is this cult? How long has this cult been here? Is everyone in this town part of the cult? Like how has this shit been going on, but nobody knows about it? It's like, even in like Lovecraftian stories, like the towns are filled with like monsters and shit. This is like, you're telling me like this entire town is dog shit cult members, except for like the deputy, like possibly his father
people in the hospital. Yeah.
Like that doesn't make sense. And like that's the one thing I'm like, I need more. You gotta tell me more.
Baxter. That's what got me with those two guys, like I call them the Winchester.
Yeah, Vincent and
guys.
Simon.
Yeah, them. I was like, they made the comment that they've been kind of like hunting them since that guy found the boy, that they've been working their way. That's drawn them to this hospital.
Yeah.
So I'm like, if you've been working your way through this, is the whole, like, are you just breaking down the whole entire cities or town's doors?
Yeah. It's one of those things. Like, I feel like
it's not.
Where we had the problem last week of the film not reaching, most likely, I don't know if it's true, most likely not reaching its specified runtime for an actual like theatrical release. So they do that filler like commercial
it's
that just doesn't make sense and everything. This one I feel went the opposite route, and I feel like they cut stuff out from the final
I could
movie
see that.
to keep it a more palatable runtime, when I feel like this could have been better
If it
as
was
like
longer.
like a 2-hour movie.
Yeah, honestly, when you're watching this, it kind of feels like a 2-hour movie because it's thick. It's hefty. This movie,
It's
you're
thick,
watching,
but it's missing so much.
Yes,
It's like it
so
doesn't have. It has
it's
the toppings, but there's nothing really in the
Yeah.
center of it.
the 92 minutes is just they're trying to like layer that fucking guac on the top of that shit, seal it
Yeah.
in real quick instead of getting
Yeah.
good hearty bites. It's
And so really, that's like my only complaint. That like the acting is good, the cinematography is great, the effects are great. The story is good, but it's like it's missing those chunks to make it a great story. That maybe like a sequel, where it's like a prequel to like everything happening, would have helped to like expand on it. But because with, like I said, with all this Lovecraftian horror stuff, it's a lot. It's a lot of like information you need to take in, and some stuff is just a leap of faith. But it's like, how are you one of even Kim?
The Shore game was kind of like that was intense.
Yeah. So it's like, the Shore, which I played on stream, is a Lovecraftian horror film, horror game. But yeah, like Kim, I think transferred in. I think she's still a student, because Beverly had said, look, I know you didn't want to be transferred to this hospital, so I'm assuming she's not from this town.
No.
So like, obviously she wouldn't know any of this bullshit going on.
Yeah,
but
she was the intern, because if you notice that they asked her, she's like, you can actually pack the boxes that we hired her for. So she's really not even, she's just studying because they're like off. She's just supposed to be there to help.
Yeah.
She's not even like on the track to. She's going to school already.
Yeah. So then it's like, okay, so she obviously has nothing to do with this because she's not from the town. But then are you telling me that the only good people are like the deputy and his wife? Like in this entire friggin' town where they all know everybody, the only two good people are them? That doesn't make any sense. So that's why it's like I would need a little bit more information, because I think they even I think later on, like Powell says something that kind of infers that like the deputy's father might have been involved in some of this too.
Yes.
Like like he was in charge or something, but then he died, so Powell took over.
He implies it, but they never show anything to like
which is
or deny.
Kind of like the biggest disappointment of this movie is that things are implied and not specifically said.
So I got ecstatic when I thought I saw The Void 2 when it has nothing,
and instead
to do
it's
with
just
movie.
like an audio, like basically like a radio play of something. And it's like, well, that's not the same thing. But yeah, so who's this? Kim and Ben stay with Maggie while Daniel, Vincent, and Simon interrogate James. I like that this is when the deputy is pissed.
Nuts up.
Because
when
he's like, my fucking wife is gone. It's like, fucking take his fingers. I don't give a shit. And James explains that Powell is the leader of the cult. They would basically lure drug addicts to that farmhouse.
And get them to,
and then the cult would have them like have sex and like watch them have sex
and then mutilate
while performing sacrifices, and that he has some sort of weird power to transform people. That's
Could
weird.
Be the math.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, well, that sounds like ramblings of a drug addict. Like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. But the three guys decide, like, no, we have to go downstairs. I think it's really Vincent and Simon want to kill Powell, so they're fully gung-ho to go down there and just try to fucking end all this. And the deputy just wants his wife. That's all he wants. Even though they're estranged, like, he still loves her. And it's weird because in the beginning of the film, it kind of makes it seem like, I think it was like their kid died, right? And
the sheriff. So this is what I mean by they have so much going on in this movie. In the beginning, towards the beginning, you'll start to kind of hear, like, when they're talking back and forth, you're not kind of getting the connection that they're together, but then you later on find out they're actually still married.
Yeah.
And I guess very recently, within, I mean, the way she looks, she doesn't look like she just got done having a miscarriage, but they had a miscarriage recently.
Okay.
So they never
Yeah, because
really go
Powell
and
had
address any
an
of
older daughter.
Yeah.
They lost theirs like in the womb. Okay, yeah. But then it seems like he's mad at her because I guess she was pushing him away. Like that's like kind of the feeling you got. But then when Powell is talking to her, he says like, you just got to give him time, which then makes me feel like, is he pushing her away? Because like she's trying to be loving and like talk to him and everything. So I'm like, now I'm just confused. What the fuck is their relationship? Like, are they fucking? Are they not fucking? Like, is he being a dick to her? Is she being a dick to him? Like, what the fuck is going on? But
see, I don't understand why it was needed. I don't know. It's a complication that was put in that none of us really, we never went back to it. I didn't like refer back to it when I'm watching and go, oh, okay, so they lost their kid. It really made no relevance to it. The doctor lost his daughter, and that was this dude's void fucking trip to get his daughter back and have everyone come to the void with him. You know, it didn't need to be there.
So the three men decide that they're going to go down and that they're going to force James to go downstairs with them. They find a hidden area in the basement, and they basically tell James, like, you're fucking going first. Like, they look, it's creepy as fuck, and they're like, we're not going down there first, so they send the drug addict out there first.
But I also want to point out, which I don't think you're going to remember, when they were on the radio, if you don't remember the nurse or whatever getting very confused when he said, I've made it to the staircase to the basement, and she kind of goes like, what?
Yeah.
It'll be relevant at the end.
Yeah.
You know, she's like, what? But I don't think anybody stopped and said, wait, why'd she do that?
Yeah, it's weird. It's like, yeah, we're at the stairs to the basement, and they're like, there are no stairs to the basement. Yeah, because it's like you get to the basement, you're in the basement, then it's like, oh, well, we found more stairs, and it's like you're in the basement, like there's no other basement. It's like, well, there's stairs there, but no one talks about it, no one says anything. It's just like, yeah, well, okay, and then they just keep going down. Allison regains consciousness and is on an operating table where Powell explains that he found a way to defy death after the loss of his daughter. Yep. The fellers find a sacrificial seal on a floor in like one of the hidden basement rooms, and Vincent tells him the same things were in the farmhouse
they found.
So all that shit's going on. So it's pretty much around this point that everything is just like kicking up, because now they're in, I'm assuming, like the cult's like sacrificial chamber or something like that.
When you mean when they walk into the one with the triangle on the floor?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure this was like a sacrificial, because there's a lot of like trash around. I'm sure like he was taking bodies and bringing them and like performing stuff there.
Yeah,
like,
and if I'm not
seal.
mistaken, when they start walking into that area, isn't that when they flash back to the dude in the living room and he's talking?
What dude?
He's having a flashback. The Winchester guy.
I don't think that is just yet.
Oh,
I think
okay.
I think that's a little bit further. No, because I'm trying to remember the.
I feel like they start going in the hallway past the seal, and then it cuts to the scene with the doctor and the wife.
Yeah, I don't think that's happened yet. I think that's after the next part that's coming up.
Okay.
Maggie goes into labor, and Kim hesitates to perform a C-section. Why? Because she's not a medical professional.
Oh,
if anything, she's a fucking tech. Like, what the fuck?
At all. I don't even think she's a tech. It seems like she just found a book and put scrubs on. Bitch didn't do shit.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh yeah, you gotta help her. And then I said it to the wife. I'm like, I know it's TV. There was no tourniquet. There was no finding the vein. There was nothing. This untrained layman's person just stabbed this pregnant bitch's fucking arm and just pushed whatever narcotic this was to a pregnant woman. I was like, oh, this bitch is just dead.
Yeah.
Realized she was just dead.
Yeah. It was. I don't.
Terrible.
Well, I mean, it didn't help that Maggie's grandfather Ben is just yelling at Kim to do it.
Yeah.
Just do it.
I was like, do you want her to?
She doesn't know what the fuck she's doing. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And so Kim hesitates to do that C-section. And then Powell turns around. It cuts to Powell and Allison downstairs in that operating room. And he turns around to face Allison and shows that he's flayed his face. He's in the middle of taking more skin off and everything. It's all gross. And he shows Allison that something is now growing inside of her. That because he figured out how to defy death, he can give her back the baby she lost. And your stomach should never move like that.
Oh.
Ever. Like, ever.
But I will tell you this. I'll tell you this, motherfucker. When my wife was pregnant and I put my hand on her belly, because that's exactly what it felt like visually.
Yeah.
That's what it felt. That in my mind, that's what it felt like was happening to my hand. But that's not really what happened.
Yeah.
That was creepy as fuck.
Yeah. So
like I said, great graphic. It's a graphically good movie.
The practical effects in this are fucking amazing. So yeah, with her freaking out over some fucking monster inside of her, the guys end up surrounded by deformed corpses that come back to life.
Those were the fuck ups of the doctor. If you remember him saying, he'll say like, "Oh, they want to die, but I won't let them." Oh,
okay.
Yeah, they're downstairs.
And one of them kills James, and then the other 3 men get separated. Ben is still pleading with Kim to do the C-section when out of nowhere Maggie stands up and slits his throat. Where does she get the scalpel?
I'm pretty sure it was like on the floor.
Was it? Because last I remember was Kim holding it, and I'm just like, I don't know. When this happened, and this is where you find out that Maggie is carrying Dr. Powell's child.
Is she? Because you know they never really fully make that under. He makes the comment, but it's not like were they implying that they slept together, or was this
I don't know.
Miraculous.
I don't know if like they were fucking and she got pregnant, or if like she's in love with him and like she implanted him the same way he did Allison. All I know is what's in her that's pregnant, which is why she'll only see Powell. It's Powell's. Like what's in there is Powell's, and she loves the doctor. Now the whole time this was going on, you have a young girl, probably like mid to late teens, in there with an older guy, her grandfather, that's like overly like with a thing. I for a while thought that like maybe she was pregnant because of incest. No. That I kind of got that like weird feeling.
I never did. I always saw it as in like he was taking her like kind of out of shame, like she went and she did this.
But he was like happy and just like, yeah, I'll go to the hospital with you. Like I'll do this. Yeah, blah blah blah. And then it was like the baby.
Seem very uptight.
Yeah. So that's why and like she seemed very like So I just got this weird feeling that like she didn't want to be there. She didn't want him there. I just had like this weird feeling. I was like, ugh. And then when it was revealed that it was the doctor's baby, I was like, okay, that seems fine. But then that would mean that like Ben didn't know that it was the doctor's baby. So then Kim is part of the cult, but Ben's not part of the cult. Who the fuck is part of this goddamn cult?
You know, all these ultrasounds look pretty fucking normal up until this point. You know what I mean? Like,
it's like, what the fuck is going on?
That's
like,
what I mean. How did let's finish this stuff.
Yeah,
and then we can go into this. Yeah.
So Maggie stands and slits his throat, revealing she's carrying the doctor's baby. Kim freaks out and runs away. She sees that the cultists have broken into the hospital. So she blocks up one of the doors, I think with the fire axe.
Yeah.
And then she hides. And then I'm pretty sure that's the last time we see Kim until the end.
Their portion of the story seems to be done.
Yeah. So she hides and Maggie leaves. This is when Vincent starts having the visions of his dead wife and child. I guess this is like the cultists like came in and like killed them. And he starts attacking Simon, not realizing he's attacking Simon. I think he's attacking him because he thinks it's
like them.
Well, I think he's attacking Simon thinking that it's him, Vincent.
Yeah.
Like, because he blames himself. You should have protected him. You should have been there. I think he's like trying to beat the shit out of himself, but in reality, he's like beating the shit out of Simon.
Yeah. Silent Simon over here.
Yeah, he can't be like, whoa, 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 stop. He's just silent. But Simon breaks him out of the spell by burning him with flare. I don't know why they have flares. Oh, probably for the gas. So that's whatever.
No,
Daniel.
that flare. Oh, why they had it to set shit on fire? But those flares, those are like, that's a chemical type of
that's
burn.
phosphorus, isn't it?
Those hurt. Yes, it is.
Yeah,
actually.
Daniel finds Allison in the operating room pregnant. He sees a tentacle creature extending from her body. So I'm thinking like it's not birthing from her body. I think it's kind of the same way the Beverly creature was, where it was like grabbing and like absorbing it. So it's like it's her stomach stretching into like tentacles, taking the form and everything. At this point, I'm assuming this is just Powell speaking somewhere. Like you're just getting a voiceover of Powell, because you hear his voice, and I think he's talking to Daniel. So like it could be the speakerphone. I don't fucking know. But he's basically telling him that like, I can give you this shit back, but like you have to die.
You have to be willing to let go.
So Daniel hacks his wife's mutilated remains up with said axe. He chops her up, put her out of her misery. She's in pain. She doesn't want this, so he kills her. Powell's voice tells Daniel that he found the ability to conquer life and death, and promises him that he can have his child back if he's willing to die.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's willing to die, but we'll see. Maggie appears. Oh, okay, yeah. So this is like, he kills that, and then he goes down into like the room. And this is where Powell says all that stuff, and then Maggie just shows up from behind and fucking stabs him in the back.
Yeah.
That seems like a fucking deep ass cut.
Yeah.
And then Powell shows up.
Because he's expressing that his you're gonna meet my daughter. I've done all this, and she can be reborn now. Yeah,
and then Powell comes out of nowhere, and he's like all mutilated, like he cut his skin off. Like it doesn't look like it looks like it was an exoskeleton like underneath his skin.
Oh, the new doctor?
Yeah, dude, he looks so fucking cool.
I want to point out that is not the same actor as Praseek. Like nothing about that is the same actor. They got another guy.
I think it is.
Dude, that doctor was like thicker and shorter. This guy looked like a tall
let me
dude.
See. It's Dr. Richard Powell, played by Kenneth Welsh.
Yeah.
Okay, transformed Powell was played by David Scott.
But yes, he has this weird exoskeleton, demonic look to him, a very Geiger look to him.
A skinless Powell, partially mutated, appears in front of a triangle as Maggie kneels before him. Super gross, super culty. Powell recites some incantation before the triangle, and now frightened Maggie's, as he's like, "Oh, welcome my daughter." Her fucking torso just explodes and this fucking monster comes out. That's when you get the Sarah creature. Vincent and Simon arrive and battle it. The Sarah creature overpowers Vincent, but he covers himself in basically alcohol and allows Simon to set both him and the creature on fire. So he does. Powell tells Daniel he can still be with Allison if he stops resisting and just lets go.
Just die.
But Daniel instead just tackles him into the void. It's like, no.
It's effective, right?
It's like, no.
Like, I'm dying anyways, bitch. You're coming with me.
So after that, like everything starts to like kind of fall apart, and Simon is running through the, I don't want to call it an underground basement, because a basement is underground inherently.
Yeah.
We'll call it secret basement.
The secret basement, yes.
Yeah, Simon's running through the secret basement, being followed by the Sarah creature, because guess what? It didn't fucking die.
I want to point out, that fucking thing moves slow as shit, and this guy kept turning around and still was slow as shit.
Yeah.
I don't understand how he wasn't gone before the next scene.
So yeah, so he's running, and the building's like kind of not the building itself, but like that underground layer is kind of closing in on itself, and it smushes the Sarah creature, and Simon, like, I guess he goes through a wall, like a doorway opens up. We'll call it a teleportation hole, whatever. It like opens up in a wall as he's running through, and that closes, killing the Sarah creature. But you realize it's just like a wall in the hallway, and then that closes.
Like it wasn't supposed to be there.
You get a view of the parking lot, and now everything is back to normal. The patrol car is exactly back where it originally was.
The other dude's car's where it's supposed to be.
Yeah, so I'm assuming it was all like once the cultists got there and then Powell was stabbed, that's when like all the cosmic shit started to happen, and it freaked out the surrounding area. Because I could have sworn they said at some point that like you hear that sound, it's calling them. So I guess that's what like all that shit was. Simon finds Kim in her little hidey hole. They embrace as survivors. And then it cuts to Daniel and Allison underneath the Black Pyramid. And while they're standing there in the void, they are holding hands, and then it cuts to black. And that was the void. And that was a fucking great movie. So for my fun facts. Yeah. For my fun facts, hardly anything in the film is CGI. All the monsters, gores, they're all real effects created by the team behind the movie, because that's what Steven, one of the directors, is like good at. The film was originally going to be shot in an actual abandoned hospital, but the abandoned hospital that was scouted proved to be like way too unsafe to shoot in.
Oh, really?
Just like I said in the last one, where they were originally trying to find like actual abandoned houses to like shoot in. It's like, that just doesn't seem safe, man. That's what happened. It wasn't safe. So instead they used a former high school. It was called Sir James Dunn Collegiate and Vocational School in Ontario, Canada. The school had been closed for a while and was set to be demolished not long after filming completed. So it's like they filmed their shit and the building was torn down. As I said earlier, The Void was a crowdfunded project, and they raised $82,510. So the movie was made for about
that much money. Damn, that's a little bit of money for them to do as good as it. That movie was pretty good for that amount.
Yeah.
So
I also said earlier about Guillermo del Toro, the writers of the film, who were also the directors, say they were inspired by Guillermo del Toro, who was working on At the Mountains of Madness, when he made a comment about wanting to do Lovecraft, but in a way that no one had ever envisioned it before.
Oh.
One of the directors, Steven Kostansky, God, saying his last name each time, it's like, am I gonna butcher this? He served as a special effects makeup artist. Special makeup effects artist on David Ayer's Suicide Squad.
Oh shit, cool.
Yeah. So by doing that led to a lot of the special effects team from that movie then going and working on The Void.
Oh, fucking hell.
Yeah. And that's really all the fucking things I got.
Oh, there we go.
Like I said, for me, the practical effects, fucking amazing. The gore was fucking stupendous. It was so good. The cast was perfect. Like, you end up liking everyone. Everyone does a fantastic job in the roles that they're giving. That school location was cool.
Spooky as shit.
Yeah. And the body horror was just like chef's kiss. It was great. My only real complaints was that the story didn't feel fully fleshed out. Like, well, I would have liked to have spent more time with the characters, because it's like, I want to know more about Kim. I would have loved to know, like, what is Cliff even doing there? Was it like an appendectomy or something like that? Like, I don't really remember. It was like he was there. You see, he's scared, and she's like, "All right, I'll see you later." And the next thing you know, he's fucking dead. And it's like, all right, what's the deal with Simon and Vincent? Like, what's their deal? How long have they been doing it? Has it been years? Has it been months? Has it been like a week? Like,
what did he rescue him? Did he find him on a trail? Like, how did they become? Because you first want to think they're father-son, then you find out they're not.
Yeah,
and you're
just found him during one of the. He was probably like one of the cult victims, and everything, and like he saved him.
Fucking raided it. Yeah.
What is it called? James talks about how they lured him in with some woman.
Like to have seen a flashback of that.
Yeah, because it's like I love the way it opens.
Yes.
It's like it's just black
Suspense.
screen, screaming. All of a sudden, you see James running away. A chick tries to follow behind. She gets shot in the back and lit on fire. And these two dudes come walking out, and it's like you're not going to get far, and everything. It's like that's a dope opening. But him talking about how the cult would send basically like feelers out and then like find drug addicts, and like they promised him like crystal meth and everything. And then when they lured him back, that's when like all the creepy stuff happened. Like I would have loved to have seen a scene somewhere, either a flashback or maybe even like
found footage.
At the end, you see like an after credit scene where it's like a woman is like out and she's luring someone else to like another cult like area.
Like it didn't go away. They're still happening.
Yeah, because it's like they said they've been, you know, going through and like doing all these kills. So it's like, where, when, like again, how long has this been going on? Has it been months? Has it been like a year that they've been doing this?
Tracking them, yeah.
Yeah, so it's like, has it only been in this one town? Because like I feel like if they've been doing all this in one town,
it'd be fucking noticeable.
Cops would be everywhere.
Yeah, you know.
Like, so it's like I'm feeling it's city to city. So getting like a scene of like seeing how they do it would be cool. But and then it was just like the story. It's like I said before, it doesn't. It feels like you get a whole. It's like you go to a restaurant and you get this delicious meal, and it's amazing and it's awesome. But it's like you got a baked potato, like a loaded baked potato, and it's delicious, but there's like no bacon on it, and there's supposed to be bacon on it.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? Like everything's there, but it's missing more because
you got the main course, but you got no dressings.
Yeah, and that's kind of what it feels like. Because I love their take on the Lovecraftian like cosmic horror. Like that's dope. The body horror in this was great, but it's just like I want to know more about these characters, especially if you're supposed to care about the characters.
Yeah, that's why they need a second one.
Yeah, it's like the only one I gave a shit about was Kim, and that's just because I fucking love her as Knives Chow.
Oh my god, dude!
Like
really?
that's the only reason. I was like, man, I hope they don't kill her.
Nah.
Thankfully, they didn't. But it's like I really didn't care about the deputy or his wife. Although I've seen her in a ton of shit too, like, pretty much
familiar face.
Yeah, like the majority of them I've seen.
Oh, I've not seen any of them.
And stuff. Let me look up her shit. Okay, I know her. I probably first saw her on the Dresden Files. She was on like one episode of that, but I remember a lot of that show. I didn't see that. She was in Survival of the Dead, which was one of it was
there's too many of them.
I think it was a direct sequel to his other film.
Day of the Dead?
Was no, not Day of the Dead. It was it was like Video of the Dead or something like that. It was Romero's take at found footage type horror.
It was that one.
Yeah,
I tried to watch it. It was very hard.
Yeah, it was the sequel to that, because I think Survival of the Dead at a certain point in that movie you run into army reservists who like take all their shit and then they leave. So in Survival of the Dead, you have like the survivalists, like the army reservists. It's like following that shit, and she's in that. But she was also in Stargate Universe, and I love all the Stargate TV shows. And the movie. Like yeah, she was
the movie. Yes.
Yeah, she was in the Alphas TV show. She was on NCIS New York. She was on Supernatural for 2 episodes.
Oh, really? Everyone was on Supernatural.
Yeah. So it's like that's where like I know her from. And then the late Kenneth Welsh. He was Wyndham Earl in Twin Peaks. He was in That Day After Tomorrow, which was the Jake Gyllenhaal, Emmy Rossum movie, where it's like they're running through like the streets of New York trying to get to as it's flooding and everything. I remember seeing that because I had a huge crush on Emmy Rossum. Pretty much everyone here, like I've seen in other shit. So it's like they are they are all competent actors. It's just
Cool.
I would have liked to have seen, you know, more shit with
More
them.
backstory.
So what did you think of it?
I've liked this movie from the day I fucking saw it. It grips you every single time, and then makes you go, wait, what the fuck is that even about? And then it starts a whole new storyline. It's like, oh, what the fuck, bro? And like you said, it had so much meat to it, but there's no seasoning. Like, you're not getting anything to finish. It's here's a little bit of the story, then somebody else a little bit of story. It's like, well, I can we surmise this? Can we figure it out? And I do feel there should have been flashbacks of that. It would have tied a lot more into it. Us get more involved with the two poachers trying to get that guy. You know what I mean? You just see these two hostile ass dudes trying to fucking kill this guy that just been shot by him. Like, no. Like, what? There's more to the story. And then the sheriff's, well, then the state troopers just getting so upset with them and not wanting to listen. Oh, he's just a druggie. It's like, it wasn't really a druggie, dude. It was people getting snatched up.
So out of 5, what would you get? What would you give this?
Oh, I would go with 5. I think it hit all my spots for horror. It gave me enough suspense. It gave me mystery. It gave me horror. It gave me gore. It has to be 5.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. Like, I like this movie so fucking much, just so much. It's so good.
I'm glad that I found that one.
Yeah, like I honestly don't think I probably would have put it on. Because like I probably don't think I would have ever put it on.
See, I just happened to have found it. I was like, fuck it, I'll put it on.
Yeah. And it's like that's kind of what I want. That's kind of what I want this to be. I want us finding some things that, you know, have people like, oh fuck yeah, this is dope as shit. I would have never found this. Like, I want us to find things like that. But next week is not gonna be that. Because next week's movie is the Gracefield Incident.
Oh, that one you're talking about? Okay.
Yep.
Where can I find that one at?
I'm gonna mute us. Okay. Play the trailer, and I'm gonna look up to see where we can find it.
Okay.
Amazing weekend with my best friend. Let's do it. Ready? Oh, what a lucky bastard.
I'm not getting my bathing suit.
What is that? What is what? That. Watch out!
So that is the Gracefield Incident. That's what we will be watching And reviewing for next week, it is free on Pluto TV, free on Tubi, free on Vudu. It's $3.99 on YouTube, $3.99 on Google Play, and $3.99 on Amazon Video. So there's plenty of free ways to watch it. Yeah, so that is the Gracefield Incident. You have 1 week to watch it so that you can do it, and I feel really bad that you are going to have to watch it a couple of times.
Oh, this should be fun.
You're not streaming this week, correct?
I will be back on Tuesday.
Okay, so you will be streaming Tuesday.
Yes.
Okay, and what are you going to be playing?
Metro Exodus.
That is on twitch.tv, Murdoch the Red. I will be live
Tomorrow.
This is coming out Saturday.
Yes.
So I will be live again on Monday, not knowing what the hell I'm going to play. I don't think I'm going to play any more Luigi's Mansion. I think I'm just going to finish my other save file and keep going so I can finally beat the game. But I have a couple of indie horror movies for everyone to watch if they want to watch it. But again, thank you everyone for watching. Thank you for all the love. Remember, the podcast is available on Spotify right now. I still have to set up all the other accounts so I can link them all. It's fairly simple, but it is on Spotify. We're moving up in rankings. I just want to keep us going. And yeah, thank you everyone for coming out, and we will see all of you later. Bye.